Why is it so hard to start something new, right? Why is it so hard to commit to a new hobby, to make the decision to start a business and quit your job, to like walk up to that girl and ask for her number? Why is it so hard to do the things that we want to do but don't do? What is stopping us from doing them is the question. The simple answer is a fear of failure, right? Like most people would just say like, oh, I'm just afraid of what people are going to think about me. And I think that's true and that's a fair point to make, but I think it goes a little deeper beyond that. I think there's more to it than just a fear of failure. And I think, or I believe, that the root cause of this fear of failure isn't necessarily we fear what other people think about us, but we fear what we think about, or we fear how we will feel about ourselves. If you were alone on the planet, and it was literally just you on an empty world, you would have no problem doing anything that you wanted to do, or at least trying to do those things, right? Like if you wanted to do a certain thing or pursue something or try something or think something, you would just do it, right? There would be no one for you to be afraid of their opinions. There'd be no one to compare yourself to. This idea was introduced to me from the book called The Courage to Be Disliked. And basically what it tries to explain is that all of our issues as people, whether they're, our behaviors, what we think, what we believe, stem from interpersonal relationships. Basically meaning we don't do certain things, or we do certain things, or we believe certain things, yada, 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 because of how we feel other people will view them and how we then view that. However, that is obviously a flawed way of living, because if you're always living based on how other people think about you and how you believe other people perceive you, you're not really living at all, right? Like you're just kind of this sack of flesh that is just doing what it thinks it should be doing based off of other people's opinions and beliefs and not your own, which isn't really worth living at all at that point. So in order for you to stop being afraid of doing something new or trying something new, I recommend and I advise that you change your perspective on what it actually means to do something new. And I'm going to explain to you how to do that. Sorry to interrupt the video, but this is a sponsor-free channel. And so I figured I would sponsor myself. I just released my video creator course program. It is a program that literally teaches you every step of the video creation process, from ideation to editing, to scripting, to filming, to lighting, to audio recording, and everything in between. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to learn how to make videos exactly like how I do, you can click the link in the description to learn more. All right, that's all for now. Back to the video. The first thing you need to do is to understand and redefine what value is and where it comes from when doing something new or pursuing something new. It's very easy to get on social media or the internet in general nowadays and see people doing what you want to do or doing what you dream of doing at an insanely high level and immediately be intimidated by that and think that I'm never going to, to basically think that's not me now, so I can never do that. And that's a very flawed way of thinking, because that comes with the assumption that those people that are doing what you want to do at that high of a level, we're always doing it at that high of a level. But you need to realize that everybody was a beginner at some point. But the reason why you don't see that is because that's not what people share online. That's not what gets views and attention. Like no one wants to see, and no one wants to share them grinding and eating shit. They just want to share their accomplishments because like that's what sells. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you as a consumer need to realize that and understand that. And so what you need to do is realize that the value doesn't come from being the extraordinary thing that you want to be, or like being that person that has like a 100K a month agency, or, runs 7 fucking marathons a week. The value isn't from that. The value comes from being the person who wasn't that person, who desired to be that person and put in the work and ate shit and grinded to become that person. The value lies in the uncomfortable area between who you are and who you want to be. So what you need to do is become comfortable being uncomfortable, because that is where all of the value lies. And the reason why that's important is because when you realize that the value lies at the beginning of the journey and not at the end, your fear of starting begins to go away, because the whole point and the whole reason why you're afraid to start and why it's so hard to start is because you think you don't have that value now. You think that the reward is going to be some far time in the future, like, right? Like you won't start because you think if you start now, there's no payoff for like 5 or 10 years, because you realize just how long that journey and how big that gap is between the person you are and the person you want to be. When in reality, the payoff is immediately. The hard part is the decision, right? Like once you make the decision to do the thing, to do something you otherwise wouldn't do, you are already miles ahead of the person that you were before. The best part about this journey for me isn't like the followers I've gotten or the business that I've grown or anything like that, anything that has come at the tail end. Everything, the most valuable part that I got of all of this is the person that I now am. The confidence that I now have to talk in front of a camera, and just confidence in my life in general, the skills that I have acquired, the discipline that I have developed to be able to do this for as long as I've done it. I am more curious. I am more outgoing. I do things now that I would have never imagined that I would do in the past. And so the exact reason why you're not starting is the reason why you need to start. You're not starting because you don't think you're that person yet. You're not starting because you see the people online that are super outgoing, super confident, super successful. And that's why you don't want to start. But that is the single reason why you should start, because those things aren't 10 years in the future. They're right now, right? Like these foundational things that improve your life and make you a better person happen immediately upon starting, right? Like the moment that you turn on their camera and record your first video, you become a fraction better at doing it. The moment that you make the first cold call or the first cold approach to a business trying to sell your service, you immediately become a fraction better at it, right? It's not like you just eat shit for 10 years and it sucks the entire time and then one day it clicks and you're suddenly successful. Yeah, there is going to be eating shit. You're not going to be like maybe monetarily successful right away, but that doesn't mean there's not value upon the journey or on the journey to get to that point. And I would argue that the value that is during that point of time where you're eating shit is more valuable than the end goal. You fear starting because you see people online doing things that you wish you could do, or having skills you wish you had, or personalities that you want to be. And so you don't start. But the problem with that is that those people didn't have those things until they made the decision to start. So you just need to accept the discomfort and get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And everything that you want to do, you will do, or you'll at least get the value along the way of trying to do that thing. Make the decision and just make it the right one.